Hey everyone, and welcome to today's full body morning yoga flow. To begin, we're going to start off in the top of our mats in a standing position with our palms facing forward, eyes closed. We're just going to take a few deep breaths here, breathing in through the nose, feeling our chest expand wide, and then sighing it audibly out through the mouth. Then on your next inhale, we're going to lift our hands up above our heads. And as we exhale, folding forward. Next inhale, hands on your shins as we go through a halfway lift. And as we exhale, bringing both hands down to the mat, walking our feet out into a plank, holding for an inhale. And then as we exhale, lowering our whole bodies down to the ground. Inhaling to push our bodies up, either for a cobra, or if you can, lifting your hips and thighs off the ground for an upward facing dog. Before exhaling as we push back into a downward facing dog. Holding for an inhale. And then as we exhale, walking our feet forward to the top of the mat. Inhale once more for another halfway lift. Exhaling to fold forward. And then our next inhale, rolling our whole bodies up, reaching our hands up to the sky. And then exhale, bring our hands down to heart center. That was one round of Sun Salutation A. I'm going to go through two more rounds, a little bit faster this time. So breathing in, hands going up. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, halfway lift. Exhaling down to plank. Inhale to hold, pushing the ground away. And exhale to chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend of choice. Before exhaling back into downward facing dog. Inhale to hold. Exhale to walk your feet towards your hands. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. And inhale to slowly rolling our bodies up, lifting our hands above our head. Before exhaling back up down to heart center. Great, one more round. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale down to plank. Inhale to hold. Exhale down. Inhale to bend. And exhale to down dog. Hold for an inhale. Exhale to walk forward into a forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. And inhale to slowly roll bodies up. And exhale once more to bring hands down to heart center. Great. Now placing our hands back down to your sides. We're going to take another deep inhale, and as we do, we're going to take a step back with our left foot as far back as we can, raising our hands up to the sky for a high crescent lunge. Really trying to push your hips as far forward as you can while keeping your front leg stable. Holding for an inhale. And as you exhale, twisting your bodies to the left, bring your back heel down to a 90-degree angle and opening your hands out into a warrior two, making sure your fingers are in line with each other. We hold for a breath. Then from here, we're going to flip our front palm, leaning slightly forward and throwing our hands up and over our head with our backhand coming around for a bind as we reverse our warrior. Coming back into a warrior two. We're going to straighten our front leg and twisting our palms to the left side. We're going to push our hip out to the back and slowly bring our front hand down to the mat, keeping our fingers in line for a triangle pose or trikonasana. And bring both hands back down to the mat, kicking back into a plank. And as we exhale, we're going to once more go down for a chaturanga. Inhale to bend. And exhale to our downward dog. And from your down dog, you can walk your feet back to your hands and just slowly roll back up to your Tadasana. As we move on to the other side. Now with your right leg stepping back as far as you can, coming into a high crescent lunge, making sure your feet are pointing in the same direction. And then as you open up to your warrior two, you have your right foot pointing to the side of the mat, front foot still pointing forward. Really pulling your shoulders back, keeping a nice strong pose. Finally flipping your front palm, leaning slightly forward as we reverse our warrior. And back into our warrior two, straightening our front leg, palms facing to the right, and then pushing our hip back as we tuck our hands down for a triangle. Hands down to mat, kicking back into a plank as we go through our flow. Now staying in your downward facing dog, lifting your left foot up, kicking as high as you can while keeping it straight. As you exhale, bending and bringing it forward, placing your foot between your hands, you lower your back knee and bring your hands up for a low crescent lunge. Then placing your right hand down to mat and lifting your left hand up for a nice easy twist. With your right foot, you're going to kickstand it out to the side and kick your left leg out for an assisted side plank. Or if you have the strength for it, you can maybe bring your right foot over and go through a full side plank. And your left hand down to the mat. As we once more go through our vinyasa, linking our movements with our breath. Starting with your right leg now, kicking up nice and high, placing your foot between your hands. We lower our back knee, coming into our low lunge. Then placing left hand down to the mat now and raising our right, opening our chest out to the side. Now kickstand your left leg out, kicking your right leg out to the back. We go for assisted side plank, or if you're able to, going into a full side plank. Hands down to the mat as we go through our last vinyasa flow. Great. Now we can come meet me in a seated position with your legs out as wide as you can to the sides. As we're going to go through a wide-legged forward fold, taking a deep breath in, and as we exhale, folding our bodies forward between our legs. And crawling our hands over to the left. We're going to go on and grab our left foot with our hands. Really pulling our whole bodies down towards our thigh. While calling our hands to the other side. Really focusing on your breath as you take some nice even inhales and exhales. And you can release, you're going to walk your feet, towards closer to you as we come up into a yogi squat with our feet pointing 45 degrees out. We can place our elbows onto our knees as we just push our legs out and open, being a nice stretch in our thighs. Placing your hands down onto the floor, and kick your right leg out, keeping your left leg bent. You're going to go in for a side lunge, and you're going to try and aim to get your left heel down as close to the mat as possible. If you can't, that's fine. And you can use the floor for balance, but if you have it, you can bring your hands up into prayer position. And moving on to the other side, shifting your weight over to the right. We lift our left toes pointing to the sky. And once more, finding your balance. Turning your bodies to the front of the mat. We kick our feet back together to the back as we lay our whole front bodies down. And then we just rest our forearms onto the mat, lifting our chest and shoulders up for Sphinx. Finally, to end our practice, pushing our hips back towards our heels, hands laid out in front of us as we end in a child's pose. Head resting on the mat. We just take some nice deep breaths, noticing any differences that we feel now to how we felt in the beginning of our practice, and just clearing our minds as we just settle in and relax. Gently keeping our eyes closed, push your bodies up into a seated position on your shins, placing your hands on your thighs. We just take a last few breaths together, giving yourself a little mental tap on the back for making time for yourself and looking after yourself, and maybe even setting an intention for the day to get your morning started and in a positive direction. And when you're ready, gently flutter your eyes open as we end our practice. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it made you feel energized for the start of your day, and I hope to see you guys again next time on the yoga mat.